According to, I guess, their own kind of research and investigative agencies that work with the government, they the COVID, let's call it what it is. It was a kind of money laundering scheme, and it was what I had called it for what it was, right? And still, nobody wants to listen to little old me, when including the bitch ass Republicans, including your last orange president, signing off $1 trillion stimulus fucking packages, when the solution was never that. It was, hey, let people get back to work, stop all of this bullshit. And instead, what you did was you basically green lighted trillions of dollars that was, of course, going to line the pockets of a bunch of cronies, and that's where the money went to. And y'all got a little what? I forget how much it cost. Y'all got what, like a little $600 if you qualified, and y'all were like Hercules, you fucking dope fiends. Nonetheless, they signed multiple $1 trillion in the name of COVID relief, and obviously a lot of that money, I would say all of it was wasted. I would already make that argument, but there's even that they're conceding, money that they're conceding, they were swindled out of. Criminals have stolen nearly $100 billion in COVID relief funds. See, if it was me, of course, that wouldn't be the headline. I would say, however much we spend in $1 trillion, I would then say criminals have stolen that money, because people need to understand that the government is not a producer. Everything upon which it has is something that is stole from either current or future generations. They don't produce any goddamn thing. And when you talk about Congress, they are a band full of fucking criminals. But some of the talking points here are the main bullet points. Criminals have stolen close to $100 billion in pandemic relief funds. The stolen funds were diverted by fraudsters from the SBA, that's the Small Business Administration's Paycheck Protection Program, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, and another program. Recovered funds include more than $400 million from PayPal and Green Dot Corporation. The government has sheltered out about $3.5 trillion in COVID relief money since early 2020. Again, so if that's the number, I would say $3.5 trillion of it was stolen from criminals. It's just the criminals ain't the people that they think of, because the Congress would never think of themselves as fucking criminals, even though that's exactly what the fuck they are. But it says more than $2.3 billion in stolen funds, resulting in the arrest of more than 100 suspects. And the government, of course, shelled out this blah, blah, blah. Secret Service specialized in financial fraud. I mean, if they really actually specialize in financial fraud, they'd be calling the Congress for what they are. Which they'll never do that. It's a band full of fucking criminals. I've been in law enforcement for over 29 years and worked some complex fraud investigations, and I've never seen anything at this scale. Yeah, it is. It's called Congress. You see it at this scale all the time. You want to talk about people swindling people out of fucking money? That's exactly what it is. You see, he says there's no doubt that the programs are easy accessible online, and so with that comes the opportunity for bad actors to get in the mix. You don't say. It was necessary to try to get those funds out the people who truly hurt. Yeah, that little bitch ass $600. Yeah, there you go. That's really what this was about, even though most of the fucking money went to these mega corporate entities. Look, guys, the government doesn't fear you. I don't even need to make this a long kind of form segment. The government doesn't fear you, and they will use any given excuse to like basically launder money. Okay, that's how they operate, and that's how they historically operated. Now, with this one, they saw an opportunity with the state of the world with this whole pandemic thing. And that was, of course, used to then line the pockets up of themselves and, again, their cronies. And most of that money was bullshit anyway, being spent on bullshit. This idea that most people were in need of that was always horseshit. There were people that were actually in need of that were actually not going to be able to access it anyway, just simply because they were ineligible. Right. So this is why the answer was really simple. It was like, hey, stop this fucking charade. And it took them a while. And even in some places, they still haven't done it, like with reopening and stuff like that. But that was always the answer. The answer wasn't, OK, we've locked these people down and now we're going to use an excuse to give them $600 by spending trillions upon trillions of dollars in like COVID relief funds. And of course, the fraudsters were like, oh, hell yeah. We have ourselves an opportunity here, and they took advantage of it. But the fraudsters aren't just those criminals. They're criminals, don't get me wrong, but the Congress is full of criminals too because they authorize this bullshit. Talking about removal of the pork. That's what some of the people that support the last president thought that he was going to do, especially with that last $1 trillion stimulus package. And I sat and told y'all, me and Razorfist actually had a little back and forth. It was a bet upon which I won. It was basically political posturing was what was being going on because they were going to get them to take out all of this bullshit. Didn't happen, did it? No, it didn't. All the bullshit was in. He signed off on the motherfucker. Like, come on, he's in on it. Like, I think to be fair, a lot of people have started to concede that. But I think if people understood, and your average person doesn't understand how government operates. They think that government just has access to a pool of money. And in some sense that they do, but you need to understand that there's consequences to that. And we're dealing with that sort of now, where you get the combination of just these $1 trillion stimulus packages, and then you get the 40% of the money supply printed within the last year. You get the inflationary issues that you fucking have right now. Okay. So it's a combination of that, but to act like the swindlers are the only swindlers, you got to look at the Congress folk too. I knew this was going to happen. I mean, I know people from where I was from seeing all they post on Facebook. These criminals nowadays tell on themselves all the fucking time. It's kind of fascinating about basically how they're going to fraud people fraud folks out of. We've covered people using COVID relief funds to buy Pokemon cards. Like, come on, man. But, hey, you got $600. Ooh. But was it worth it, you stupid motherfucker? You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.